Hi Excel students, I wanted to give you a hand on the Consider This problem that is assigned at the end of Chapter 2. This assignment is the first time that you have been asked to create a spreadsheet completely from scratch without any step-by-step direction. So it's like a case problem. There is no answer key that I use to grade that looks exactly the same for every student. There can be a lot of differences. However, I'm going to look for certain things that the problem is asking you for. So for example, in this problem, you're asked to show a 5% savings for each club for the next year, and you need to show average, lowest, highest values. Those numbers would be the same for everybody. But as far as how you lay it out and how you formatted it, that's going to be up to you. All right, so what I have on the screen here is a picture of the problem from page 128 in your textbook, and I have just taken the information given and dropped it into the first part of the spreadsheet so that we have something to start working with and you don't have to watch me type with it. So one thing to remember when you create a spreadsheet from scratch is you should always put the name of your company or institution first, and then the name of the spreadsheet, what it's showing, should be second. Try not to use any blank columns or rows. So in this case, it looks like I'm crammed together there between 2 and 3, but formatting will fix that. And then over on the right, I just have a little note that you should always put your name as the preparer of a spreadsheet, and you should also add the current date so that it is obvious to the department, the student services department in this case, when this information was prepared. Okay, so moving into the details of the problem. In the second sentence, each club is allocated money at the beginning of the year and can hold fundraisers to raise money for events. Each club is required to save 5% of their income for use at the start of next year. So let's work on that statement. So in order to get 5% of our income, we may want to calculate a total. So we could add together our allocation and our fundraisers so that we have a total here in column D. And then we can calculate 5% to save after that. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's put a total here. And then let's add together column B and column C. All right, and then we want to have our 5% savings, or let's call that carryover, because this is different than a regular savings account, so we'll call that carryover. And then we want to figure out what 5% of 50,000 is, so we start with an equal sign. You can click on the 50,000. We're going to multiply that by 5%. Whoops, I added it. Sorry. Take that out. Wrong operator. And D4 times 5%. D4 times 5%. What the heck am I doing wrong? Oh, that needs to be not percent. It needs to be just money. Wow, I don't know how I got that so goofed up. So $2,500 would be our carryover savings. Okay, and we don't want decimal places because we're using round numbers in this example because they've estimated numbers for us. So let's keep using round numbers and no decimal places. All right, so now that we have those two cells written, or those two formulas written, we can select them both, grab the fill handle, and pull down to the area we want to fill in. So that looks correct. The next thing in the problem says that we need to calculate how much they need to save. We did that, as well as the average, lowest, and highest for the budgets. So we'll need an average, lowest, and highest of these budget numbers. So we're going to do all of them, the allocated, the fundraisers, the total, and the carryover. All right, so we're going to start with our equal sign. We're going to type average. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. You can certainly use the menu. Lowest would be min for minimum. Again, I'm writing the formula the old-fashioned way. And then max. All right, we have those three functions written. Now we can select all three of them, grab the fill handle, and copy them to the right. All right, now we should tidy this up. I think we've got everything finished here, but we need to tidy this up and format it appropriately so it's easier to read, and then just double check our work. So as far as the numbers go, we should have commas, no decimal places on all of the numbers. That would make sense for this budget because it's an estimation. So we are going to format those for commas, and then we'll just use the tool to decrease the decimal. That looks better. Now we need to set off the information from the average, highest, and lowest. So we can do that with cell styles. In fact, we could use the cell styles to do some quick formatting for heading style 1, heading style 2. We've got some headers there. Let's see, we could do even heading 3 on those. And maybe to set off the things at the bottom, we could bold them, for example. Okay, trying to think of what I've missed. You may want to merge and center the headings. Don't forget to put your name and the current date on here. And if you'd like to add lines or something, that would be all right. So a straight line underneath the last line of data would be nice. That kind of breaks the data. You can use colors and formattings however you wish. Something else I'm looking at just here quickly is probably the headings over the numbers should be either centered or right aligned. Everything else looks pretty good. So your final spreadsheet could look something like this. And I wish you luck on finishing this problem. And when you get to chapter 3, I won't give you this much help to get started. I want you to start learning how to work on these case problems or consider this problems and use your own knowledge and what you've learned in the chapters to develop your spreadsheets. Thanks for listening.